On the morning of July 16, 2025, the airport buzzed with the usual routines of travel. The air was thick with anticipation, a blend of excitement and nervous energy that seemed to ripple through the terminal. Travelers moved with purpose, some seasoned and unhurried, others glancing anxiously at departure boards, all swept up in the choreography of departure. At the gate for Flight 558, passengers sipped coffee, scrolled through phones, and corralled children, each lost in thoughts of their destination. Some exchanged quiet words with loved ones, while others sat in silence, their minds already soaring ahead to what awaited them. Outside, ground crews moved with practiced efficiency, preparing the aircraft for another journey. Luggage carts zipped across the tarmac, and workers in reflective vests coordinated with hand signals, ensuring every detail was in place for a safe departure. Inside the cabin, flight attendants greeted passengers, stowed bags, and demonstrated safety features with calm assurance. Their smiles and gentle instructions offered a sense of order amid the bustle, a reminder that every journey begins with small acts of care. The plane's interior was a cocoon of soft lighting and quiet anticipation, a brief pause between lives left behind and journeys ahead. Passengers settled into their seats, adjusting headrests and glancing out the windows, the hum of conversation fading as the moment of departure drew near. As the doors sealed, the engines roared to life, sending a subtle vibration through the fuselage. The familiar sound signaled that the threshold had been crossed. There was no turning back now. The captain's voice, steady and reassuring, welcomed everyone aboard and outlined the flight path. His words, practiced yet personal, offered comfort to nervous flyers and seasoned travelers alike. Routine words, part of a script designed to instill trust. Passengers listened, some intently, others distracted, but all aware of the ritual's importance. The aircraft pushed back, taxied to the runway, and paused, a final breath before flight. The world outside seemed to hold its own breath, waiting for the moment of release. Through the windows, the world slipped by, the ground connection fading. The familiar landscape became a blur, replaced by the promise of new horizons. In the cockpit, final checks were completed in silence. Every switch, every dial, every checklist item was a step toward the unknown sky. Then, with a surge of power, Flight 558 thundered down the runway, lifting into the blue sky. The journey had begun, and with it, 1,000 stories were set in motion. Behind every flight lies a world of unseen vigilance. Maintenance engineers inspect every system, hunting for the smallest anomaly. Air traffic controllers choreograph the sky, guiding aircraft with calm precision. Pilots trained relentlessly are ready for any emergency, prepared to turn panic into procedure. This intricate web of expertise and technology is why flying feels routine. The hum of engines and smooth ascent are not luck, but the result of a system obsessed with safety. Every layer, from hangar to tower to cockpit, works in concert to keep passengers safe. The boredom of flight is the ultimate achievement, a sign that everything is working as it should. Safety in aviation is not an option, it's a necessity earned every day. At 35,000 feet, the world below seemed impossibly distant, a patchwork of clouds and sunlight stretching to the horizon. Flight 558 cruised in peaceful routine, the gentle hum of engines lulling passengers into a sense of comfort and security. Passengers watched movies, dozed, or gazed at the clouds, unaware of the storm about to erupt. Some chatted quietly, others lost in thought, all trusting in the safety of flight. Suddenly, a deafening explosion tore through the right side of the plane, shattering the calm in an instant. The fuselage shuddered violently, flames and smoke billowed from the engine, and the cabin plunged into chaos as alarms blared, and the acrid smell of burning fuel filled the air. Oxygen masks dropped from the ceiling as the air grew thin and cold, a stark reminder of the danger now facing everyone on board. Screams and panic filled the aisles, the illusion of safety shattered in an instant. Fear rippled through the cabin, raw and uncontrollable. Passengers clung to each other, searching for hope in the eyes of strangers, desperate for comfort in the face of the unknown. The world outside was a blur of fire and metal. Inside, fear reigned, every second stretching into eternity as the crisis unfolded. All eyes turned to the cockpit, desperate for reassurance, silently pleading for a sign that someone was still in control. In that moment, every life on board depended on the unseen hands at the controls, the pilots now facing the ultimate test of skill and courage. The routine of flight was gone, replaced by a fight for survival, as hope and fear battled in every heart. The fate of 287 souls now rested with the crew, as the sky itself seemed to tremble with uncertainty. Investigators would later trace the disaster to a hidden flaw deep within the right engine's fan disc. A microscopic impurity, invisible and undetectable, had lurked in the titanium for years. With every flight the flaw grew, a silent crack spreading through metal under immense stress. On this day, at cruising altitude, the disc finally ruptured. Fragments tore through the engine and wing, severing fuel and hydraulic lines, igniting a fireball. The explosion was the end of a story that began in a distant foundry, with a flaw no inspection could find. It was a stark reminder, even in a world of precision, perfection is elusive. The battle between engineering and physics is constant, and sometimes, physics wins. The safety of every flight depends on catching these ghosts in the machine. On this flight, one slipped through. In the cockpit, chaos erupted. Alarms blared, the plane lurched, and control was slipping away. The sudden loss of stability sent a jolt of fear through everyone on board, but in that critical moment, the crew's training kicked in. Every second counted as the situation escalated rapidly. The captain, a veteran with thousands of hours in the air, took manual control. "My aircraft." His voice was steady, cutting through the noise and confusion, as he gripped the controls with unwavering determination. While he fought to steady the jet, the first officer worked through emergency checklists, shutting down the burning engine and activating fire suppression. Each action was precise, practiced, and vital to keeping the aircraft aloft. Their communication was crisp, their actions instinctive, a testament to relentless training. Every word exchanged was clear and purposeful, minimizing confusion and maximizing efficiency. In the cabin, flight attendants braved the chaos, shouting instructions and helping passengers don oxygen masks. They moved quickly, guiding frightened travelers and ensuring everyone followed safety protocols. Their calm steadied the panic, linking the cockpit's fight to the passengers' hope. Even as fear spread, the crew's composure inspired trust and gave passengers the courage to hold on. With hydraulic systems damaged, flying the plane was a battle of strength and focus. The pilots wrestled with unresponsive controls, their hands and minds working overtime to keep the jet stable. The pilots declared an emergency. Air traffic control cleared a path to the nearest airport. On the ground, controllers coordinated rescue efforts, readying emergency services for a possible disaster. For what felt like forever, the crew worked in perfect synchrony, guiding the crippled jet through the sky. Every movement was deliberate, every decision weighed with lives in the balance. Every action was driven by training, teamwork, and the will to save lives. The bond between crew members was unspoken but powerful, forged in the crucible of crisis. The fate of all aboard depended on their skill and resolve. In those tense moments, hope and fear mingled in the cabin as everyone waited for the outcome. In the face of disaster, professionalism prevailed. Against all odds, the crew's courage and expertise turned a nightmare into a story of survival and grace under unimaginable pressure. Against all odds, the pilots brought Flight 558 to a hard but survivable landing. Emergency crews swarmed the plane, dousing flames as passengers evacuated down slides. Every life was saved, a testament to training and composure. Investigators quickly focused on the shattered engine, piecing together fragments to find the cause. They discovered the microscopic impurity in the fan disc, a flaw undetectable by existing methods. The engine had passed every check. This was not human error but a blind spot in technology. The final report praised the crew's heroism and called for urgent changes in manufacturing and inspection. The industry faced a reckoning. New standards and technologies were needed to find hidden flaws. The accident exposed a weakness and demanded a stronger system. The lessons learned would reshape aviation. The story of Flight 558 became a catalyst for global change. Manufacturers overhauled forging processes and pioneered new inspection technologies to detect hidden flaws. Airlines updated training, using the crew's actions as a model for crisis management. Simulator programs now included scenarios like Flight 558 ES, preparing pilots for the unimaginable. The incident reminded the world that air travel's safety is built on relentless learning. Every safe flight honors the lessons of past failures. The legacy of Flight 558 is vigilance, a refusal to accept good enough. Trust in aviation is not blind faith but confidence in a system that never stops improving. Every uneventful landing is a quiet tribute to those lessons forged in fire. The sky is safer because the industry never forgets.